Hello, my name is Kathy Smith, and I am currently working as a nurse in the neonatal intensive care unit at Crouse, and I am in the pediatric nurse practitioner program here at Upstate. Today I'm going to take you on a video tour of charge.org. It is an incredibly useful website that can be used for both families and practitioners, and it will take us across the lifespan of an infant, baby, then child that has charge syndrome. So having a baby is a wonderful event. It's very exciting and it's actually pretty scary. And most of the time things go as planned. And parents get to take home their beautiful baby. But sometimes things don't go as planned and you might end up in the intensive care unit. Sometimes it's just a surprise because the little bundle of joy wanted to come early and you have a preemie. And sometimes it's due to a birth injury. And sometimes parents know ahead of time that the baby's going to be up there because of some congenital defect. And they might know a little bit about it ahead of time from, sonograms or amniocentesis. But sometimes they don't. But it's important for us as nurses to help them learn about their new reality and help them through it. Initially, there's a whole bunch of shock and sadness, and they go through all sorts of different stages, but relatively soon you have to start teaching them how they're going to take care of their new baby. Sometimes when a baby has a congenital defect, let's say like tetralogy of Fallot, it's scary and it's startling, but generally speaking, if there are no other anomalies associated with it, the parents will learn quickly that after multiple surgeries, the anomaly basically can be corrected. I'm not saying that that's an easy thing, but it seems like there is a plan and a path and some questions get answered. But occasionally, a genetic defect or anomaly will come up that doesn't have any real good answers for the parents, and they're left out there with lots of questions that we can't answer for them. And one of those genetic defects is charge syndrome. So let's talk a little bit about what charge syndrome is. Charge syndrome is a recognizable genetic syndrome with known patterns of features. It's an extremely complex syndrome involving extensive medical and physical difficulties that differ from child to child. Babies born with charge syndrome are often born with life-threatening birth defects. They spend many months in the hospital and undergo many surgeries and other treatments. Swallowing and breathing problems make life difficult when they come home. Most have hearing loss or vision loss and balance problems that delay their development and communication. But despite these seemingly insurmountable obstacles, children with charge syndrome often far surpass their medical, physical, educational, and social expectations. So, CHARGE was an acronym that was put together in 1981 to refer to the newly recognized cluster of features seen in a number of children. Over the years, it's become clear that CHARGE is indeed a syndrome, and at least one gene causing CHARGE syndrome has been discovered. The letters in CHARGE stand for C is a coloboma of the eye, which is kind of like a cleft. H is for heart defects. A is for choanal atresia. R is for retardation of development, and G was growth retardation, and E is for ear anomalies and deafness. So those are some of the things that would make a practitioner look to see if a child might have this syndrome, but it would really be done by DNA testing, looking for the gene mutation CD or CHD7 gene on the 8th chromosome. So why did I pick this website? We really do use this website in the NICU to help parents newly diagnosed with CHARGE syndrome. And like I said in the beginning, this website is all encompassing across the lifespan. and it takes in medical needs, educational needs, social needs, all of those things, and I'll show you that in a minute. It offers up-to-date information and research, including conferences that parents can go to and practitioners. It is for support of the families and practitioners serving those babies. And as far as the SEER rating went, I gave it a 20. It has everything that the best websites would have, including a scientific advisory board and a clinical advisory board with physicians. But most importantly, that this website gives hope to people. This is a really scary syndrome, and what's scary about it is that it varies so much from child to child. You can't really predict what the long-term outcome might be. Okay, so let's take the tour. So let's take a look at this tab up here for professionals, and then we'll go to the medical professionals, click on that. And if we scroll down, there is a charge syndrome checklist. And this goes head to toe, every system, and points out what should be assessed across the lifespan from infancy, childhood, adolescence, into adulthood. And many of these things will be done in the primary practice and referred out if you need a cardiologist or pulmonologist or gastroenterologist, that kind of thing. But this will start in the primary practice. So let's see if I can go back. Then we want to take a look at the best part, I think, is for families. Okay, under the Families tab, we are going to go to the resources right there. And then down and through here, there is a charge management manual for parents. And in this management manual, it covers all of the things that might be part of the diagnosis for their particular baby. All of the systems head to toe, and descriptions about how that affects them and ways they might need to manage it. But additionally, there are sheets that allow the parents to keep track of medical appointments that they've been to and surgeries and things like that. The average charge baby will have 17 different specialists and probably have somewhere around 20 surgeries by the time they're 10 years old. So keeping track of all of that medical information is really a daunting task, and this helps them do that pretty well. Also in this, for families, is something right here about communication. It is so important to start to find a way to communicate with your charge baby, and this is for everybody. The earlier good communication starts, and the more people that develop good communication with the baby, the happier, more successful the child and the parents will be. So as practitioners, we have to find a way to communicate with the babies as they grow into adolescence, and then finally leave our practice as adults. But this communication is important for them to develop social skills and learning skills as well. And that's another good part about this family tab, is the education. So getting into the education system with a child with special needs can also be a daunting task. But there are resources here if your child happens to be blind or deaf, and how to get the resources you need, individualized education programs, those kinds of things. If they need special resources for anything, this section will help you do that. Additionally, there is information for educational professionals and for psychologists, behavioral therapists, and educators, all on charge system and what that means, and how that baby's going to come into their classroom and function. So let's go back home. So that's my tour, and I think that it's really important for us as practitioners to know how to reach out to our families and get them the resources that they need. Um, Charge, it occurs 1 in 10,000 births, but for that one baby and that one family, all the support we can give is uh, really important. They deserve that. And to be a good practitioner, you need good resources. So this is an excellent site, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.